You know, it's funny how my mama used to tell people how much she loved us and loved me and da this, but would actively choose a man over us every single time. Like every time, bro. It was like, man, chose a man over my sister. She chose a man over my brother and helped the man fight my brother. Your son, right? It's starting to get cold. It's about to be starting to be the middle of the winter. And I'm starting to see my mama a little less and less. You know, she be gone all night sometimes, and or sometimes I just wouldn't see her that much. And I'm like, you know, in my young age, I'm like, what's going on? So we get to the middle of winter. And like I said, both my mom and dad, they paid bills, you know, well, was supposed to pay bills together. He was always doing something else or something weird with the money. And it was like, this time, it was the craziest thing ever. Because we're in the middle of the winter with no heat, like for real. I thought we could actually die. That's how cold it was in that house. We got like all this cover. We putting all this cover on top of us because, you know, we huddling together. We like, yeah, we freezing in the house. Come to find out, she with another dude. They're in the house with heat, electricity, and all that. Man, when I found that out, bro, I'm like, yeah, this lady really don't give a dang about nothing. Like, she really don't care, man. But even after that, man, that's another forgave her for that. You know what I'm saying? There's so much stuff we forgave her for, and she just kept doing stuff, man. Like,
if you don't like your kid, you're a narcissist, you're jacked up, you're supposed to like your kids, and a lot of people don't like their kids. A lot of people actually despise their kids. A lot of people actually HATE their kids, and it's repulsive. And that goes to your 20-year-olds, your 30-year-olds, your 80-year-olds. People can't stand their kids, and it's because they can't stand themselves. It's because the truth is, you look at your kid and you realize all of the work you didn't do, all of the love you didn't give, all of the years of choosing yourself, all of the nastiness and being like, oh, that wasn't me. It was you.
I have an ultimatum to choose between my kids and my man. That's not fair at all.
You don't want to see that part either, because I go crazy.
But you seen me a little man. You seen me a little man.
When I crash out, I'm going in.
Boom! This Lee crash.
Yeah, it's chat saying that if you could be with your baby mama, you would, or something like that.
When I said I could be with my baby mama, when you get in a relationship with anybody, don't you plan on being with them? So I was saying at that time, if I could be with my baby mama, I'd still be with my baby. Everything I do is for these fucking kids. What y'all talking about?
That's the truth. He do a lot for the kids.
Yo, because only reason if y'all been here for a while, y'all remember when I first started recording, it was me and Jaleel. But y'all started telling us to put the other kids in the video. But if I leave today or tomorrow, Jazz not monetized. Jazz don't even post like that. So y'all know when y'all see their pages, they want to post like they cute. Them kids ain't worried about. I'm the one that's worried about bringing money in this month for all of them. Niggas, I already got problems with my kids, and I'm helping her take care of her kids. I already got enough on my shoulder, bro. I told her, let her move out.
Introduce yourself, say. Mama.
Jazz, you know what? You letting that man draw a wedge between you and your daughter, and I don't like it. When you on the videos with him and you letting him degrade you, call you autistic and say all of these negative things about your family, you got yourself a cold stone narcissist, right? And whatever this is, this energy that you giving your daughter, you should be supporting her. You should be uplifting her. She's trying to move your family out of his grasp with your dumb ass. She's trying to put y'all on the map since he seems to believe that he's the one who's bringing the money in, and you guys have absolutely no partaking in going on. But you sitting up there being dry on your daughter's clearly getting that you're jealous of your child of some sort, of some type of way. You know what? That should backfire on.
For the fine folks that visit this channel, you may not be aware of who this is. You may be a little bit too classy to even know. However, I am all around the internet, and sometimes I find myself in the trenches. Well, this is where I discovered this family. They're from the NFL Lee family. It's a family who went viral from a little girl who is massively overweight, and she's dealing with childhood obesity. And this guy came into their home, the mother's boyfriend, and decided to just press record and start recording her children. Upon recording, we learned a lot about the family. According to her and her children, they have been very vocal about being on the spectrum and having autism, which is perfectly fine for the viewing audience because a lot of us have knowledge on what autism is, and the stigma of autism is not as prevalent as it used to be because of awareness. Now, here's the thing. The guy that is in their home, that is the mother's boyfriend, he is sincerely ignorant, okay, about life at large. That man makes it a point every chance he gets to call these children slow, to call the mother slow, and to make autism seem as though it is like a disease and that they're less than. And he uses it in a demeaning way to devalue this mom and her children. And that told me everything I needed to know when I was trying to wrap my mind around why they were facing so much backlash. It wasn't just the public being concerned about Jaleel's weight. It was all of the other moving parts in addition to that. So I went down the rabbit hole, and upon going down the rabbit hole, God gave me a revelation. Generational curses is not something that just happens by chance. Generational curses happens because a mother or a father opens up the door in some way to create a lifestyle that is so toxic and dysfunctional that it affects the stability of the children mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and so on and so forth, because they cannot get past their own personal issues. So in this case, you have a mother, just like the man talking at the beginning of the video about his mother neglecting them, abandoning them, and creating all of these issues with them. Well, this mother is doing the same to her children. So the man that she's with recently just talked about how they got together. And it was disgusting the way that he described this woman and how he knew from day one what he was going to do in terms of exploiting this family and taking advantage of this woman's situation. Now, when he met her out and about, he said they were at a party or a club or something, and she was dancing. According to him, she was not dancing like a regular black girl, he said. She was dancing a little bit off. And that right there told him that she was, quote unquote, special. Now, he says he kind of put himself in her view, or she was looking at him, and she just kept looking at him and getting close to him. And some kind of way they started talking. They exchanged numbers and they're texting all night. According to him, he wanted to take her down that night, but for whatever reason, that didn't happen. So the next day, he invited her over to his place, and she brought her child with her. She brought her youngest daughter with her. The lady and the guy go in the room, close the door, they get intimate, according to him, and the little girl is outside the door crying. Now, I believe the reason why he told us that story is because he wanted us to know from that day, he knew that she valued having a man or a man's touch more than she valued being a mother or being concerned for her children. So in his mind, he automatically knew that if he could use his body or use intimacy as a tool and a weapon to disarm this woman, to take control over her life, her family, and everything, then that is what he was going to do. Because it seems as though she cared more about getting her rocks off and getting what she needed to get than her daughter crying outside that door. So from there, he knew that he can come in and take over. And the way that it looks, he did just that. That woman did not formally introduce this man to her father or her mother, her family, and she didn't even set up a formal introduction between this man and her children. She didn't invite him over for dinner so somebody could vet him. It didn't matter to her. She got what she wanted, and she wanted it and some more. She wanted it so much that she wanted it in-house, even at the expense of her children's comfort. So with a lot of people who are broken and just so happen to be parents, they have this paradigm of thinking where they believe that a child should stay in a child's place. And because they are an adult and they're grown, that they can do whatever they want to do and choose whoever they want to choose, not factoring in the child's feelings, emotions, or views at all. because they're grown and a child is a child and they're going to have to learn to adapt. And that is the beginning of generational curses when you're broken. After day 2 of intimacy, it wasn't long before he moved in to those children's home and cohabitated with their mother. Now, when he comes in, they have an arrangement. He picks up the children after school, or he watches them after school until the mother gets off work, which creates a time window. There is a gap of time for after school until the mother gets off work. In that gap of time, he made a decision to press record and start making family content with her children. Now, I don't know what the conversation was. I don't know if she consented to it, but it does appear like she didn't have a problem with it because he started making the content. Now, when he started making the content, the way he probably framed it to this woman, like all narcissistic and predatory men do, he probably framed it like, I'm introducing a new stream of income to you. And you have 4 children, you got all these bills on you. I'm trying to bring some money in here so that I can take the pressure off of you so you don't have to worry about paying all of these bills with your one source of income, your job. So by me doing the content with your children, we're bringing money in, and it's going to take a lot of financial weight off you. So how he has it set up is if they don't play ball and they don't do what he wants them to do, he's going to remove himself outside of the home. He's going to take his content creation genius with him, and that additional supplemental income that they've become accustomed to is going to leave with him, making it seem like they need him, he doesn't need them. So a lot of this is just exploitation and a means to an end with this man. It has nothing to do with pure intentions, has nothing to do for real with him being attracted to the woman, has nothing to do with him even wanting to be with this woman. It's all a means to an end. He also stated that he already has issues with his own biological children. He never specified what those issues are. But if you go down a rabbit hole and you look at the content, he has demeaned those women. He called them nasty names. And he said the reason why he got with each of those women was for pleasure. It was all about pleasure. So what do we have here? We have a man whose life is rooted in lust. We have a woman whose life is rooted in lust. We have a man who makes decisions because of the spirit of lust. We have a woman who makes decisions because of the spirit of lust. What has happened here? Because of the spirit of lust active in both of these people's lives, they have made decisions that resulted in creating other life, which is children. And as a result, those children are living in the effects of the cause from their parents. Which bring me to the scripture where God says, the Lord your God am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sins of the parents to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. It is important to go to that last part of the scripture, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. There are people who purposefully misinterpret this scripture, okay, and say, well, God, if God is a good God, why would he be jealous and why would he want to punish children? That's not what this scripture is about. This is about generational curses. What ends up happening is the actions and the behaviors that we display in our everyday lives have a lasting effect on our children. If you do not see the error of your ways and how your lifestyle is counterproductive to not only you but your children, 9 times out of 10, those children will repeat those cycles and behaviors because you have created a social norm in your life. You are telling your children that the way in which you are living, even though it is self-destructive, not only to you and to your family dynamic, that is their normal. So quite naturally, those children are going to adopt the very same mindset and start living the same lifestyle because that was their normal. And that normal is anti-God. That normal is anti-righteous. That normal is anti-productive. That normal is anti-positive. It is anti-conducive. It is anti-longevity and prosperity. So that is a generational curse. You have created a generational cycle. You have created a non-conducive pattern. because you did not rectify your issues to live upright and live according to what God has called you to. You decided to live that savage life, and doing whatever you want to do is a lasting effect not only on your life, but the lives of your children. With this situation, the most dominant open door for both of their lives is lust. So what happens to Jazz? She has an obvious void. Satan sent her a man on her path to pretend as though he was going to fulfill that void. But this man, in many ways, comes to trauma bond with this woman under the guise that he is a savior to her life. What is her perceived issue? She is an active single mother with 4 children who has to pay the bills, who has to rear the children. And so this man sees that even though he has his own children, he doesn't have to worry about the everyday pressures because he's not an active father. So he meets a woman who is supposed to be an active mother, presenting herself to be a solution to her problem. And she allows him to come in because he makes her feel good. Not trying to vet this man, not seeing what his intentions are, not even knowing his temperament, and if he's going to pose as a threat to not only her, but her children as well. None of that mattered. It was all about scratching an itch for both of these people. However, one is a lot much more conscious than the other. He is consciously aware of his objective. He knows what he's coming to do. He's coming to pretend to give, but he's actually coming to siphon and take. That's his ulterior motive. And that's the only objective. Not only for her, but for all the women that he come in contact with. Because this man appears to be someone that struggles with his relationships with women. And it seems like he doesn't really respect nor really like women. He objectifies women, and he doesn't really care for women as people at all. That's another issue for another day. Comes into the woman's house, takes over the whole house.
Girl, shut the hell up and go get you a man. You probably don't even got a man.
Now, the issue that she has outside of lust, a lack of self-love and very prevalent insecurities. Now, how is that going to manifest in her household when it comes to warfare and division? He's going to see that, he's going to observe and assess that, and then he's going to use her growing and developing daughter against her to bring a lot of her issues to the surface, because he really does have an eye for that girl. So as this little girl is developing, she's growing as a young girl and she's changing in terms of puberty. That man that is not their father, not their stepfather, doesn't really care about the mother for real, is keeping an eye on this changing and growing girl. If you notice also in the videos, there are times where you can catch his eyes, because I watch everything. There are times where you could catch his eyes where she'll be talking, or the mother will be talking to the child, and he'll be glancing at certain parts of her body as well. And then also when he takes the camera, he zooms in a lot towards her back area and everything. And the mother isn't catching any of this because she's in la la land. That woman is so demonetized, and he got her so wrapped around his finger with that bedroom activities. She doesn't see anything and she doesn't hear anything. She's not paying attention at all. All she sees is that this man that she likes because of the way he makes her feel is watching her daughter in terms of giving her attention, and that makes her feel rejected because that rejection wound and insecurity is in her. But now they are competing for this man's attention instead of her seeing it as a red flag to get him up out of there. Her insecurity and her rejection is so strong within her that now she sees her own daughter, her growing and developing daughter, as competition. So what she starts to do is triangulate her children. When that spirit of narcissism is strong within one or both parties in any environment, it is like a cancer that spreads because it is a demonic possession. That's all it seeks to do, is to divide, to conquer, to devour, and to destroy. So with this situation with these people, This woman is now triangulating her own daughter with her other daughter. So she has two daughters. She has a young daughter and then she has the older daughter. And because the older daughter, if you pay attention to the way she carries herself, this little girl has great processing. And even though she, act a little bit older or what have you, or some people would even say a little rebellious to the, in terms of the way she talks or whatever, she does have a lot of logic when she speaks. And in many ways, she keeps a lot much more structure and order than her mother does. So the mother, instead of seeing that in her daughter and trying to strengthen that, she is competing with her daughter. And she has created a golden child and a scapegoat situation out of her daughters, where she shows more attention to the younger girl. She pacifies her and enables her more. She plays favoritisms with the younger daughter, Jaleel, where they're both dressing up and the mother calls it mother-daughter twinsies. But my thing is like, you have two daughters, not one. Every opportunity she gets, she creates a scenario to make her older daughter feel left out, isolated, and scapegoated. Anytime the younger girl is in the wrong, she does not correct her. She overlooks it. But when the older daughter is out of order, she makes it a point to make an example out of her, letting her know that you are being punished for your actions. But the other girl gets to act like she's an ice skater, just sliding on through. And it creates a rejection wound in the little girl, Jada. So you see how rejection begets rejection? Because the mother feels rejected by that man. And so she feels like that man is eyeing her daughter, or she's watching her daughter develop and blossom into a beautiful young girl. She wants to punish her by making her feel the way she feels.
Team Jada. It is. Team Jada. Whatever y'all say. Whatever.
That he told Asia not to let Ray J fight. He told even after that.
So if she feels rejected, she's manufacturing a situation to also make her daughter feel rejected as well. And then what she's trying to do is rewire the daughter to be a people pleaser to her, where the little girl will modify her behavior, where the little girl is trying to pour into her mother and get her mother's attention. But no matter how much she tries to do it, the mother keep moving the goalposts.
Watch this nasty look Jazz gives Jada. You can see Jada's expression change, and then she turns back around to the camera as if everything is normal. Look at that look. She has something against Jada.
Can I help?
There's nothing to help with in it right now. I'm making a
Can I put the
sandwich.
mayonnaise?
You can, but it's a little bit too early to do that right now. And I do not want mayo, so this one is mine.
I make the best chicken tenders. Okay? The best chicken tenders.
From who? Me or you?
Me.
No. No, you don't.
We gonna all try this together and y'all tell me. Go get a
I
plate.
still can't tell you nothing. Why are you tasting the food when I finished cooking the food?
Mommy, you do it. Yeah, you do it.
You can't do what I do.
When the little girl is doing what she's supposed to do, she still moves the goalpost, which signals to her daughter, no matter what you do, it'll never be enough. I don't love you like that. Why? Because that man rejecting her or ignoring her or paying more attention to her daughter makes her feel like he doesn't like her like that, or he doesn't love her like that. So she's taking out the way he makes her feel on her daughter and making her daughter feel the very same way. You see the sickness in this, how demonic, how dark, but how casual it is. And so what's happening now is the little girl, Jada, who's her older daughter, she's watching people online and she's seeing content creators say that that man is in their house using them. And so her processing what is being shown shows her that yes, he is exploiting them and that he is acting like he's controlling their fate with this content creation. So she makes a decision to start trying to record some stuff on her own and then incorporate her mother in the content so it can be more family content and in many ways ease them out of the grips and dependency of this man that really does not care for them for real. So she's easing squeezing them out of his grips. But instead of the mother participating with her own daughter and getting involved in a creative way to make the content interesting, she shoos the daughter off. She ignores the daughter. But when that man press record and wants her to be a part of the content, she's laughing, she's smiling, she's happily doing it. And even when she doesn't feel like it, she still forces herself to be a part of the content every time he put her face in the camera, which lets you know she valued that man and his attention more than she values her own daughter, which is a divide. And the little girl feels so out of place to the point where recently she just talking. You know how children just expressing their grievances of frustration. And she was online just saying that she's thinking about moving out at 16. Even if it's just a little child expressing her frustration, why would a girl want to move out of the home with her other siblings and her mother at 16? Because not only is the mother triangulating her with her younger sister and making her feel isolated and alone, but the mother consistently keeps choosing that man's side over her when all she wants to do is have a safe space to pull her mother to the side and talk about what's going on in their household. But every time the little girl comes to her mother in confidence and in privacy, she turn around and tell the man everything the little girl is saying to her in privacy. So she has made herself an opposition to her own daughter, which her daughter cannot trust her with her own thoughts because the mother's going to turn around and tell that man. And what the man's going to do, he's going to twist it around, making it seem like the solution to their problem is actually the problem, making the little girl who actually proposed a solution to her mother be the problem itself. He even stated that the little girl can move out, that she can leave. She don't have to be there. Who is he to dictate what's going to happen with this woman's family and her child? He even stated that the mother's not going anywhere, that no matter what he says online, no matter how he frames it online, she's not going nowhere. What makes this man believe that he's so powerful and has a grip on the mother that strong that no matter what he does or what he says, she's not going anywhere? Lust. He got that woman's mind so gone and wrapped up in lust and pleasure that no matter what he says or does, she doesn't want to lose that man breadcrumbing her and scratching that itch from time to time. And I'm being serious. A lot of women who are broken, who are single parents, let these men come in off the streets, barely knowing them. He comes in proposing like he's going to play stepdad to your children, like he's going to help you build a foundation, because, you know, it could be a struggle being a single parent and having to wear all of these many hats. But really he has an ulterior motive to extract, to exploit, and to use for all he can. And if he leave, or when you leave, or however the situation is, that he's going to leave that place in complete devastation. It will be worse when he leaves than when he came. Satan has a way of getting you when you have all of these deficits and all of these voids, especially when you want a man or you want a woman so bad as a parent. The damage that is done to you doesn't just affect you, it affects your children as well. And like I said before, when I talked about the Clarissa Shields thing, when you are a broken woman, because none of us are perfect, okay? None of us are perfect. But if you are a broken woman or a man and you have children, you do not need a partner. You need a therapist. You do not need a relationship. You need a therapist. Because until you get to the bottom of what your real issues are, they will continue to be prevalent in your life, and they are going to be the reason why you keep making the same detrimental decisions in your life that will not just affect you, but they will affect those who are attached to you as well. It is so important to see what is happening. When I am looking at this situation, it breaks my heart because it's so casually done, because it's considered to just be normal life. When this is your norm, you don't think in depthly about the lasting effects that this stuff will have on your life. Another thing that is prevalent in their household is they are living between two worlds. They go to church like it's recreational and not like it's a lifestyle. You're cohabitating in the same household with the children and you're not married. The little girl Jaleel had enough sense to ask the guy, when are you going to marry my mother? You're living in the same household with us, playing house, taking my mother out, living here, sleeping here, acting like you a stepfather, so to speak, but you're not marrying their mother. That sends a signal to those little girls that they're not worthy of marriage, that a man can play house with you and play like y'all are together, but really not make it official, and that's okay. Then it sends a signal to her sons that you can cohabitate in the same household with a woman and not make her an honest woman according to y'all belief systems. The belief system is Christianity. You pretending like you going to church, you saying that you believe in the Bible and the commandments, but you're not living them. So that's sending a conflicting message to those children, the girls and the boys. So it's not a wonder why the generational curses in that household are so prevalent. I just feel sorry for those children. And I also feel very sorry for the older daughter, because it's almost like a generational curse breaker situation. If the mother doesn't get her head from between her legs and actually come up for air and see what's going on, these children are going to inherit way much more problems than they would on their own organically, because she chose a man who cannot lead himself out of a wet paper bag to come in her home and wreak havoc on them. Never choose a man or a woman over your children. This same thing can happen with men as well, where he can be so wrapped up in a woman due to lust and maybe the way she makes him feel, or even her body, that he's choosing a woman over his children. And then the woman, when the man goes off to work, will be abusing the children mentally, physically, emotionally sometimes, making the children feel like they're not included. Sometimes these women be predators and they're abusing your children, essaying the children as well. That is something that is not talked about a lot. Female predators who will get with men who have their biological children, but when the man is not looking, she's mistreating and abusing those children as well. We are not perfect. However, if we do not see the error of our ways and get ourselves together, whatever we do not fix, we will create brokenness within our own children. And that is a sad thing to see. With a predator like this, sometimes if you keep that man around the girl that he opposes the most, but he's keeping a watchful eye on, you're creating a situation that if that man makes a pass at that girl and she tells you that he made a pass, you wouldn't even believe that little girl, because you think that she's only telling you that because she don't want you to be loved and she wants your man and all of this foolishness. And it is just a shame to see this right before our eyes. All right, guys, if this is your first time here, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for listening.